Good morning, everyone. Hello, some user. Welcome to the show. Whoa. We got new music. Check us. We got new music. What does the new music say? I'm going to regret my life choices here. Hang on. That's not bad. Like I said, I may regret my life choices on this one. So, how are we doing this morning, some user? All right. Naturally, we are working with naked maquettes right now, so if you'll just give me just a second, I will render this out and put it back into safe mode, and we don't have to harm all those children by having naked people. You know how that goes. But I did the drawing and I didn't like it, so doing okay. All right. So, to save, and we will go over here. Yesterday, I posted a picture of Snoopy. I was pretty happy about that. Look cool. I like my Snoopy. New GPUs. So you're looking like the 30 series Ti? Because I've been kind of looking into that as well. Rendering is slow, but not work-stoppingly slow yet. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of like, well. So it's kind of one of those things like, well. Yeah, 3060 or 3090. I agree. Those are both good. Where did you save to? Illustrations. Okay. What are you doing? Who are you people? All right. Oh, you have a 770? It's a generation back from even mine. So I don't blame you. We're almost ready to share screen. This is getting discordant. Hey, who thought this Christmas music was Christmas music, people? Yes, but GPU prices are coming down, which is extraordinarily useful. So now I can share this. Nope. I agree, though. The AI stuff, I've gotten really addicted to AI, and it's kind of probably a problem. Just saying. Starting to worry about myself here. So now more than ever, yeah, I don't blame you. Now more than ever, I feel like speed is going to be important. More than ever before. If nothing else, AI has made me much more conscious of how fast we need to put out comics, because we can reasonably ask people, hey, use your time. don't publish it. Don't say it's yours. And if you do publish it, say, I did this with AI. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm very open about the fact that I use maquettes underneath here, right? And I do it specifically for speed. I can draw without the maquettes. I can do it just fine. We've seen me do it many times. Well, you haven't seen me do it many times, but it's because recently I've been on task for production. I only use the maquettes when I'm in production. And it's because this saves me so much time. Okay, the music's discordant, it's driving me crazy. It sounds creepy. And it's starting to really bother me. There is a great chance of a George sighting. He has been chasing his tail. His tail has been attacking him all morning. So he's slightly insane today. Yeah, it's for planning. That's exactly what that's what Kayan and I are exploring, is planning. But like, for example, it's, you can use these things for various things that are useful. You don't need to, like, I use all the time these maquettes just to make this fast, but I am technically tracing, right? Now, I made these maquettes. These are mine. So the 3D models underneath it are mine. But, I mean, you can argue that, but this is still Genesis 2 from Daz. And all I really did was superimpose my artwork on top of it. But we were willing to accept that, Or at least I hope people accept that, because boy, if they don't, I tend to go into these like horrible spirals where I believe that I'm no good. It's horrible. But I mean, the texture maps on these maquettes are mine and everything like that. So Pepper has been very big on this. He's like, those texture maps are yours. You made them. And really, all that I'm using the maquettes for is to keep consistency, because I'm not a very consistent artist at this moment. So the question really is, can we use AI for assisting in art in the same way that I'm using AI to assist here, right? And that's something I think we can accomplish as long as people are open about it, but they have to stay open and say, hey, I drew this with AI. Because I can appreciate the stuff coming out of AI. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You might as well future-proof yourself. You're right. Hi. You can draw. No, really. Hey, George. How you doing, bud? Did Mom go to work and now you're stuck with me? Yeah, what's happening? Mom went to work and now you're stuck with me? Mm-hmm. It's because Mom went to work. Yeah, I get that. What? We were here and now we're gone, huh? Infamous squirrel. Not at the moment. I don't. So, I haven't been sold on the idea of it. I like using Midjourney, but the truth is, I can just throw something together in Midjourney, and that's all I'm going to ever use it for anyway. Right? So, that's the extent of where I'm going. So, it's kind of one of those. I don't know if I would ever. I mean, I guess, but I can't figure out what I would use it for if it was local. However, that doesn't stop me. I mean, I know for a fact that many times I have thought this isn't going to something I can use, and then, a year or two later, I'm using it. So I'm certainly not. Oh, I gotta do the thing. I gotta do the thing, guys. I have to do the thing. Oh no, I'm on the wrong layer. Okay. Yeah. No, I'm with you. The look is that could be useful. I'm not gonna lie, that could definitely be useful. No. There's literally one line somewhere else. Okay, but yeah. So I mean, I could see that could be useful in the event that I wanted to train it into my style. But I think I'd have to rectify what does that mean first, right? Like, what does that what would I use it for, and then make explicit rules for myself? Because once I train it to know my style, there would be a siren's call all the time to just make my comics through AI. You know what I mean? And just have AI render it out and be a siren call the entire time. And I feel like that would be pretty brutal. Hmm. Yeah. Not disagreeing with you. Hmm. I may disagree with this. Yes, I'm disagreeing with that right off the bat. There's a leak? Where's the leak? Hmm. Oh, there is a leak. Behold, a leak. A wild leak has appeared. Oh, Wednesday's good too. I don't understand. I have decided, because my wife likes to go out dancing and I really don't, that I'm going to learn the Wednesday dance so that whenever we go out dancing, I can just dance the Wednesday dance. It has to be done with dead seriousness. Yeah. It is pretty funny. I liked it. Pepper has differing opinions. That's okay. That's okay. Did we say that as green or did we? Right? I mean, like, there's only so much you can do. And you're doomed. Mm-mm. You're wrong anyway. Like, this whole thing is supposed to be that, but that's all right. Where are these leaks coming from? Are we really calling that a leak? I feel like that shouldn't be a leak. I feel like we have our settings in a closed gap world. All right. Oh, yeah. It's, that's the thing. Dancing is all about what comfort level you're at with yourself, and that's part of it, which is one of the reasons why I think we do dancing as a cultural thing, because it shows a certain amount of confidence in yourself. And I am totally confident so long as I have a program that I agree with that I'm running. And that's part of the problem, is that, like, the standard, I'm going to go out there and just dance like normal, is not a program I necessarily agree with. So I don't have a dancing program to run. What do you call it, a program? Which is sort of part of the problem. There we go. Feel like we may have a problem with that. Let's take a look. I think I was gonna say, I feel like that got crushed somehow. It doesn't look right at all. We're 2 left feet, huh? My whole thought is, that's fine, man, but, your feet leave you. There's nothing I can do. Nothing at all. You are totally an AI drawing. And you don't you have 27 fingers to boot. You know what your problem is, Jerry? You have too many fingers. That's how we know you're an AI drawing. There's the next comic right there. think she's an AI. How can you tell? Hi. uh, I feel like I need to draw that. Right? Yes. Nope. Yeah. It's a meme where it's like, now we will do all of our artwork through AI. Shake, 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 shake. Their hands everywhere with like 70 fingers. You've gone insane again, huh? So your tail is attacking you once again? I'm just saying. We've noticed. We've noticed. Okay. A little bit complicated here. Excuse me. All right. So we need to go in here and merge these two together, which gets complicated and weird here, guys. Sorry. Not as weird as AI, but weird. How did I manage to pull this off? Oh, I didn't. Yeah. Lots of layers. Yeah, but I'm trying to clean up stupid stuff, like the mistake I made earlier. In this instance, that's what we're doing. All right. Okay. We have lots of layers because this layer is where I... Okay, so here's part of the problem. With the fill tool, you either have... There's no just right. It's... I need to set it for right between... they don't have a fine enough distance on this. So when you talk about aliasing, and you guys know what anti-aliasing is, yeah? Right. That one's good too. We talk about aliasing and anti-aliasing. You get kind of a line where it's sort of let's see here. If you've got kind of lines are done in sort of boxes, right? So when you draw the line, even if you're I guess if we draw the line like that, here, you know what? We can literally show this point. I draw that line, and the thing is that once we get close enough, it's really just a bunch of boxes, right? And that's called anti-aliasing. If you turn off the aliasing like this, then what you get is this, right? There's no aliasing at all at this, or I'm sorry, there's no anti-aliasing. There's just aliasing. But none of this, see how it's kind of grayish here. But when you zoom out, it looks harsher. It looks a whole lot harsher than the line next to it. And that's the problem, is that it's too rough to look like. I know, she was pretty cool. So when we do this, I turn on my aliasing all the way up. The problem with aliasing, and this is the ongoing problem with everything, is when you fill it with a color, it has to decide how much of this gray here do we turn green and how much of it do we turn gray. And you can see already some of these vanish completely, right? You can see how some of the squares were just eaten up, right? Well, when you do that, this line gets thinner and it looks thinner. So you could do it that way, or we can turn off the closing of the gap and turn the tolerance down to 0, at which time it shouldn't be doing that. Oh, it's because it's the area scaling, right? Anyway, there's another way to do this where you can get it, and effectively what happens is it only fills in the area that it has. The tolerance should be down to 0. Why is it having a problem? Oh well, it doesn't really matter. Can't get any lower than that. Oh, that's why. And if we do that, that's exactly what we're looking at here. So what you see when you look at it from a distance is little white sparkles, right, around the edge. Now, there are many solutions to this that we do. Like we turn up tolerance and we turn up the close gap and things like that. Those are functions that are in here that we definitely use. But what happens is that in the end, I need to fill an area like this, but I need it to get all the way into the black line right there. And so in doing so, the lines we lose a little bit of our line work, right? And you can see it here. The difference between, that's the original line work. Right here is the original line work. And then once I colored it in, we lost some of that line work, especially see the fine lines around her nose, especially, right? And so that's why I do two layers for this. The top layer gives me my original line work, and I won't use it to fill. Right. But I mean, so I won't use the fill tool on this tri-view line work layer. I'll use it underneath it, and then it won't matter. The other good thing about having the line work up there is I can do things like, oh, look, we've got a little bit of a mess up here. So I'll just go in and I'll just color in like that. But if I did that on this layer, as you can see, it erases the lines, right? But if I do it on the layer underneath it, it doesn't. Because I can draw all I want, and that line's never going to go anywhere, right? Because that original line's there. But if you take that off, you can see that I have definitely done damage to the line work, but it doesn't really matter, right? You can't see it. Do the same thing over here. Yes. And this is how I do work. Now we are still freaked out because now it's going to do what I was trying to get it to do before. Right. There we go. So now we can clean all that up, and it doesn't really matter if it's that detailed or not. Now I'll go back in and fix her eyes in a minute. For right now, we won't. And that's what aliasing has. Yeah, CSP has some awesome vector tools that I never use because I'm an idiot. That's what it boils down to. All right. How is that a leak? No, it's not. There. Like, how is that leaking? It's not leaking. So when I say leaking, by the way, one of the irritating problems of working in these things is that when you have an open zone where it is open, are we sure this is the right color? Design document U. No, it's not. Why did you pick that other color? Goofy. I'm like, this doesn't look right. When you have an open zone and it has an opening, there's a function over here that says close gap, and that means that it can control or how much of an open space will Clip Studio consider still inside the area, because all of us are not perfect artists. And so yeah, that's the thing, right? Being able to go in here with a line and then go, oh, yeah, you know, kind of think I want this to be a little thicker, like right here, right here. Make that bigger. Yeah. Right? Or, you know, it can be obverse of that. I think this needs to be narrower. That right there is what some user is talking about. This ability to take the line and change it. If I were smart, I'd draw all of my stuff with these vector lines, but the drawback that makes me stop is that right now in my workflow, the way it works is I take a layer and I ink it, and then take that ink and then immediately go into the fill mode, which is what we're doing right now, where I fill in all the colors. And in doing so, I end up with I end up doing all of this color work on here. Right? And that becomes sort of an issue. Let's look at this so that we can talk about, those are gold, which is why I was wondering, because those are gold. I had a feeling that wasn't the color I wanted. How is that not fixed over there? That's why I can't take you places. I'm just saying. That outer stripe. Not another stripe. Oh, Chang's missing missing her shoulder pockets and her leg pockets. You can't. That's part of what's aggravating, is I can't do that. So add a vector layer. We go in here with the pen and we draw a circle, let's say, right? Then we take the tool, and the fill tool just gives me a no. That's not allowed. And I get it. Part of the reason is because you need to be able to go in here and change your control points, alter your line if you need to, right? And so if you did, then all that fill would have to be filling itself in a weird way around all of that and trying to it'd have to recalculate every time. It's not hard. It's just a step process that I can't remember to do. All you need to do is right mouse click and rasterize, and then I can fill it like normal. There's literally only one more step, but for some reason that's such a major, like, I can't do it thing, and it makes zero sense. And I will be the first to tell you that I have no earthly idea what my problem is and why I can't just do that. I don't know what the deal is. Especially since Cat gets on here and they give me all kinds of grief for it, because they've been trying to get me to move over to vector for an age and a quarter, you know? A lot of gold in this outfit. I'm guessing this line should be that, since we don't know because we did it wrong. I don't know if Illustrator can or not. I have Illustrator installed on my PC, and someday when we decide that we want to test that out, I shall. That day is not today, though. I need to finish this so I can roll it out so we can move on with our world. Is that all sealed, or what's the story? Because, I mean, like, how much of this is going to be a pain in the butt to fix? And black. We need this to be black too. These need to be safety orange. This is the only part of that uniform that's safety orange, yeah? Yeah, I mean, I did that as a map, so it looks like, here, I'll show you. Let's say, for example, we'll bring up Chang, right? Chang's primary line uniform, service uniform, looks like this, right? And I went on ahead and I put the service patch for the kitty which for some reason is subdued on this particular picture, and I don't know why. And I put in her little scrambled eggs, and I put the star and all that stuff. And these markings here do things like the maquettes themselves are naked, so they're not wearing anything. But when you put a woman in a jumpsuit, it curves around the breasts, so it doesn't actually curve under the breasts. So I need to have a departure line and an arrival line to remind myself that when I draw it, I draw from this line and then skip the curve under the breast and go to this line. And that's what needs to happen from here to here and stuff like that. So I've got kind of things that I know that I'm supposed to do when I draw them. But yeah, there's the pockets and, and all of the pieces parts from the uniform. So that's what then I've got her face is this. I drew that. All of this is my design. And it just wraps around the existing maquette. And then you need to put limbs on her because she's got limbs. So this is her arms and legs. And then I have one for each uniform. So, like, for example, this is her dress uniform, right? Right. And that's why I keep saying it's not quite like I'm cheating too much. I'm tracing my own design in its own way. But I have to keep convincing myself of that because I still feel like I'm cheating. But that's okay. We'll get there in time. It takes some effort for me to get this straightened out. Since I've got her dress uniform, might as well put the correct thing on here. So here's a great example. This is all of her awards and things. And I will take this now and I will shrink it down until it's the correct size. I'll put it right here. And I have to tilt it just a little bit because the chest is a little bent there, just a hair. Although with her, not as much as other people. That was a boob joke. That was totally a small boob joke too. I thought it was pretty good. So, one that I believe firmly that Chang would definitely make on her own. Okay, so I've added just the ribbons to it. I'm going to go on ahead and open the dress uniform as well, and then do the same thing. But I want to make sure the ribbon's the same size. So what I'm going to do is kind of a weird trick. I'm going to take the ones that I just made, these guys here, because in theory she's wearing standardized metals, so they're all standardized, and I'll bring them over here and I'll paste it in, right? And that'll be in the exact same spot over here. This is where it lives on her uniform, on the dress, on the formal. Which is an important thing because looking at it, I can already tell that just by the nature of the beast, it is sitting slightly different. Like the star is over this seam right here. Right? See how it's going right over this seam? Which makes me want to come in here and just clean up that seam a little. Because the military would never put the seam like that. It's unseemly. they'd want this seam to move straight through the heart of that star, like that. The military has a very elegant and lovely way of doing things. And it's funny because I think a lot of people believe that the military has no aesthetic design, but they have routinely had graphic designers who join the military, and that's their job. There we go. Hey, George. You keep coming in here and then rubbing up against my feet. And I keep saying, if you want scritches, you know how you have to get scritches. You know the rules. That's a good question. I mean, I adopted George, so there's that. I don't know what to say about that. George is George. Like I said, come up here. Brent made it. So the answer to your question, some user, is that I met Pepper. I want to say I met Pepper at a convention, right? And so that was where I met him, and then we got to know each other and talk, and he was the one who was talking about an idea of an accountability program. It's all good. Where we would get together every week and hold each other accountable for things. And that was pretty cool. And then I had come up with the idea of streaming, and then we merged the two ideas together. That's why when I was talking to him the other day, I'm like, I came up with the idea of streaming for accountability. He's like, I came up with the idea for accountability. He's right. He totally did. But we were meeting at a Starbucks every week. Because this was before COVID. And then it was, we got together at this Starbucks and we would draw and hold each other accountable and things like that. And then, we were like, oh, what we could do is see if we could increase our followers by streaming. And, hey, after 3 years, we have like 5 of you guys. So we definitely succeeded in increasing our followers. We went from no followers to, 5. So that's how I met Pepper. Colton and Kayan, I met through an art group, which we all got together on Sundays at a Perkins, which is a family restaurant. So we were at this Perkins, and they had what used to be the smoking section in this Perkins a long time ago. So they repurposed it to be the meeting section for people to meet at. And so there was a group called Red Team Go. And since we're going to take a George break anyway, because George is not going to leave me alone until I've scritched him a lot. So we might as well talk while we're scritching George and taking a George break. But yeah, there was this group called Red Team Go. And Red Team Go met on Sundays sometimes, and sometimes Tuesdays. And, like we had these days where we would get together. And I need you to go over there, though. You're like, but I like this. But I like this. I know you like this, but I have work to do. So that's how that sort of came about. Hmm. Yeah, I love you too, George. It's all good. You're gonna come back up here, aren't you? You make a noise when you do too. Oh, hey, Jerry wants your autograph. Jerry wants your autograph. You can always tell it's a George paw print though, because George has unique paws. Because he's a polydactyl. And that means he's got many, many feetses, many, many paws. And he's doing the kneading bread thing because he's so happy. Well, and so one of the things that we do with the accountability thing is say, some user, would you like to join us? You can just join this. You can't join. I mean, we don't let it so that anybody can join the stream, but technically you're here chatting with us. You could be working too. And we can all work together. Since it's nighttime for you, this could be your evening thing and stuff. And I'll talk and chat and keep you company, and you can keep me company, and all kinds of things can happen. And George can keep you company because George likes to keep people company. George is who George is. So that was the whole idea. Oh, yeah. So you're right. So it's right about dinner time, give or take. I mean, I guess it depends on whether you eat dinner at that time or not. So, all right, George, I know you like this, but I really do have work to do. I will not be denied, says George. You cannot deny me. You can't deny me. If you deny me, I will lick your nose. Okay, well, there's that. That's a definite that happened sort of thing. You're good. Right, you should go eat. Some user, go eat. You don't go starving. I'm actually kind of hungry as well, but I'm trying to. I've got plans for lunch because I've got to go out to the store and stuff like that because the storm is rolling in, and so I want to make sure I've gone to the store before. Okay, but here's the thing. Here, you make this really difficult. You know that, right? I mean, like, this is really, if you're going to do that, don't bite the stylus, you goofball. That didn't go like you thought it would. That's a good question. You know what you want, Jerry? What you want is, oh. Yeah, you want a Philly cheesesteak. That's what you want. There you go. I've done my bit for King and Country. Mm-hmm. Okay, but I do need to work. You know that, right? Okay. All right. So we've done this. What are you chewing on now, you goofball? All right, we'll save that. And then we can. Yeah, I do love you. I know. I love you. It's fine. Okay, so yeah, you can lay there. Just don't lay on the keyboard, okay? Yeah, like that. Oh yeah, cut down on those carbs, man. You're a really strange animal. All right, so we are gonna fix this problem. You make drawing really difficult. You know that, right? Mhm. You don't care. Because you're a cat. What do you think? You're making a good choice here, George. You know, I thought you'd stay here. This would be perfectly fine. Problem is, you're still just young enough to be like super mobile. Not only that, now there's little black cat hairs everywhere on my monitor, on my. You're 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 a disaster. You know that, right? Oh well. What we put up with for our family. There you go. If you order me one, though, I'm just saying, can I go with Swiss? I just want Swiss. Yeah, accountable for the scritches. I don't think I need anything else from here, but I do want to keep that so I can figure out what color I'm doing here. All right. And this is this color. So let's get that in there. That's you, and 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 there we go. Uh-oh. I already see a missing line. All right, let's. Mm-hmm. That's what I thought. There we go. And a lot of fixing to do there. Nope. I'm just sealing up all the last bits of this. Maybe. Yeah. I think that's just I mean Brent's right. I think this is just the generic music. But it's better than dead silence, which is always kind of weird. So I prefer it quite a bit over that. So that's why we're playing it. And sometimes the music's really weird because the music is like there's like people counting or something. I don't know. Always makes me go, okay, you know. I don't know what you guys are doing, but okay. Whatever. But yeah, whatever it is, it's just the generic restream music that allows us to do that. You know, I do too, but the problem with Kevin's music is that it requires me to rig it from here, and if I do, and then I have a disconnect, the music gets all wonked up and stuff. So it's a little kind of problematic. Yeah. All right. Now down here. All right. I think we're approaching the end of the fill portion of the show. Actually, the bottom pad should be gray, like so. There we go. Now, we go back in here and fix some of the other weirdnesses. Like that. The problem with my style is that it doesn't always, or there's no way to really do it in a way that makes it so that the eyes don't just end up getting filled with skin tone. So I got to go back in, and mess it up. I haven't found a quick and efficient way to fix this particular problem. The only way I've got specifically is just to do this and go in manually. haven't come up with a good way to deal with that except just go back in and redraw. That's fine. Now let's dump that out, and then the last thing are the belts and colors. That's you. Nope, that's you. And once again, every time I do this, I'm like, well, hope you don't get ejected into space in your dress whites. Because there are no RC thrusters for the dress whites at all. And that should be it. At least for basic colors. That's all we need for her basic colors. Go ahead and save. Then we're going to merge this guy down with the next guy. Then we're going to take this and copy it. We're going to bring up. Oh, we went to a different spot. You. Say paste, and it's going to be massive. That sounds like something Deus thought he would do. Computer, do you have a notification for me? Why is this a thing? No, thank you. Hi, we're going to interrupt your world by asking you if you want to buy a thing. I'm getting kind of over that. There you go. That sounds like a thing that involves liver sandwiches. I'm not sure I'm on the liver sandwiches part. All right, let's talk about now. We'll just copy this piece over. There. Yeah, I think liver is something that is phasing out in the US. There are still people who eat it, obviously, but I think it's phasing out. So I think that's still something that's very European. It's very German. I mean, like I said, that's so like our German cultures here will still very much eat liver. Like my buddy who's German. His family is German. He loves his liver and onions. And I think that's very cultural. I also feel like it's kind of one of those things where we are slowly losing it here in America on that one. Yeah, gizzards. But I mean, you'll get people who still very much swear by it, and that's totally cool. Nothing wrong with that at all. All right. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to stare at this for a second while I think this through. She is very young, so she doesn't have a lot on this setup yet. She's just going to have this middle row. Because she's gonna have to take this one out. Why are you doing that? Just do this. The middle row is all we're keeping. What we're going to have is effectively her MOS. Breakfast. Oh yeah, fish, garlic, mushrooms. That's what free vert girls. Oh, they're really out there, huh? Let's get those vert girls, man. Hi, vert girls. Who's a vert? I don't even want to know. Block user on YouTube. Add to block list on StreamYard. Kablamo. So, internal guts food is what Jerry was talking about earlier. We call it, either gizzards or giblets. Those are the words, gizzards and giblets. That's the internal guts of a critter. So I feel like she will have only a couple of these. We'll give her engineering because she needs engineering. Obviously. We need to give her her military rank award. She exists in the Unity military, so we know that. I kind of like the internal guts food. I'm just saying that pretty much describes my feelings for it. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty close to the way. I kind of feel like it's internal guts food too. All right. You know, I think one of the coolest parts about our century that we're living in now is that language really isn't much of a barrier. I mean, it's still a barrier. Hey, Donald, good to see you. Well, I can always try to relay. Yeah, same with Japan. Don't ask, just eat. I think my kids completely freaked out about that plan. Because you're going to get an answer and you're not going to like it, and that's the way it goes. Mm. Oh no, dead fly. Oh my god. That sounds horrible. Donald, you have jumped into like the weirdest discussion we've had some pretty weird discussions in our day. I mean, to be fair, but this one's pretty good. I'm enjoying this. We're discussing like various kinds of food. It's like the coolest, like strangest things, but like various kinds of weird food from various places. In this case, Sweden. But I will also say that Japan has natto. And you know, it's another one of those you don't want to know, just eat it. And it's actually not bad. I liked it. But natto is fermented soybeans. Wasabi milkshakes. And it's actually really funny because when we have that kiddo here that is sort of family. Oh, we forgot to call her on her birthday. Man, I'm a bad uncle. I'm just saying. Um, um, there we go. Oh yeah, I do too. But if I know what's in it before trying it, I'll psych myself out. So we can't do that. I'm not allowed to because I will totally psych myself out. All right. 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 Sorry, Oscar. The phone lines were down. You know what? I could though rectify this by at least messaging her now. There we go. Could you please? There we go. Now, there. Phone lines to Japan were screwed up because of a volcano. I don't know if she'll believe me. I think she knows me too well. Alright. So we are now here. Yeah, I think that to some users' comment about us still eating guts and internal stuff, I think we don't think about it. Like, we don't discuss what's in chicken nuggets and we don't discuss what's in hot dogs. We are in denial, and so we just deny. Really? I mean, you're like an expert at this, Donald. And like really good at this kind of a thing. Donald, you saw a Korean person eating spiders? I don't eat spiders. That's horrible. I wouldn't eat spiders. Would you? You'd eat spiders. Actually, your whole mission here is to eat spiders. You know that, right? That's what we pay you for. You get paid in cat food to eat spiders. That's your job. Eat spiders and birds. That's your job. All right. We need to give her flight wings because that's actually a big deal. That's what she has. She is the pilot. Oh, sure. I mean, I totally think that it's not. This is probably a good time to do this. Oh, hey, look at that. Put that in, then didn't use it. Nice. Yeah, I just think we're all in denial. Some user. I mean, I hate to say this, but I think we're just in denial. All of us are in denial. Although, broccoli is also good in iron and stuff like that, so. Yeah, alligator. I mean, that's the thing. Is like, I know now that having been in Japan, there's probably a number of things that I might, if I had known what I was eating, might have been a little bit grossed out. That said, I think I've gotten, you know, I think we've been doing fine on that one, really. Gator bites. I didn't know we had gator bites here. Not typically. I mean, like, you will find delicacies from place to place that, sometimes you'll be like, well, they'll eat rattlesnake in some areas, but it's considered a delicacy for one. But for the most part, it's we don't traditionally. It's not like you can go to the store and just pick up rattlesnake. Well, if they do, it didn't happen in my part of the South. Doesn't mean it doesn't happen, just means it didn't happen where I was. They don't really look like wings. Yeah, I feel like you'd have to be out in the reservations for that kind of stuff. Not necessarily, but like typically that's where I find those kind of things is out in the native areas. Not to say that the natives necessarily, I just don't know why the natives do that, but they do. They're into that. Is that what I wanted to do? Yeah, they look like ears. Cajuns. Cajuns will definitely eat alligator, or they like reptiles. Cajuns will eat reptiles. I guess that's kind of why we do ears, kind of like, what are we doing here? I think that's why we do it's why we do wings that are like this. I just didn't want to do wings like this because it's so passe, you know? And looks a lot like the scrambled eggs function thing that we were doing. The Cajun people are people who are French descent. So they came over to America from France and settled in New Orleans, which is in the state of Louisiana, and that's really really south. And they have a very specific culture. So it's a mix of French and Haiti and like Cuba and a lot of that culture from that, from the islands that are out in that archipelago where you head out through the outside part of the Gulf of Mexico. So there's a bunch of little islands out there like Haiti and Cuba, and they picked up traditions along the way as the French settlers moved across. And once they settled in Louisiana on the mainland, in New Orleans, they set up an entire culture universe there which is now still pretty much in what they call the French Quarter, which is a part of New Orleans where it's very Cajun. But they have a very thick, different Southern accent. So it's not the same Southern accent as you'll get from, say, Mississippi or from Georgia, the Deep South, or the Texas accent, which is also slightly different. But they have this very thick, mixed with French, American English, that's mixed with some Haitian languages, the Creole, and they have that entire culture. It's a very cool culture. I had an uncle who was Cajun, and so it's very, very fascinating. But they also love hot stuff. Yeah, Creole is the name of that language, which is a mix of French, English, and Spanish. But also their English is weird, like interestingly twisted. They say things like "How y'all are? Glad for you to see me. I guarantee." Because I speak a little Creole. You're welcome. It's a very interesting and deep culture. I actually really, well, I mean, part of it, of course, is I grew up with Cajuns in my family, so it's a very comfortable culture for me. Only because I've got some Cajuns in my family, and so I happily and blissfully kind of wander around that culture all the time without thinking about it. Okay, you know what? I'm going to shamelessly steal something because this is taking too long. Why are you doing that? Just do this. This is a shameless steal. There we go. Continental had these wings, and every time I think of wings, I think of these. And so might as well just use what you think. The thing you're thinking about, whatever you're thinking about, just do it. We'll just make this work. However, there. Yep. And that is kind of, oof. That's why you're like, I hate to say it. That's why I hate to say it. All right. And I will just not do that. I'll just trace in the outline of this. Because we don't need all the detail. But this will at least give me what we're looking for. It is totally okay. I've never been to Sweden either, so I mean, also I will ask for a little bit of forgiveness. Because Sweden and Switzerland both start with SW, I sometimes say them interchangeably because of my brain aphasia. I actually know the difference between the two. And I know that they're two different cultures. So please forgive me if I say Switzerland every so often. It's because they both start with SW and has nothing to do with not knowing the difference between the two cultures. I know them very well. I just have stupid brains sometimes where I cannot remember, or I can the word that comes out of my mouth is not the same as the word I am thinking of in my head. So, but I wish to assure you, I do understand that they are two different countries with two different cultures. So, it's just me being dumb. Oh, yeah. Which actually, I would love to someday learn how to say that. Because legitimately, the moment that I have a buddy who lives there, I tend to want to call it by the name that it actually is called, because weirdly, it it's strange that we keep naming things something different. There we go. That makes me feel a little bit better. At least that those look like those look like pilot wings. So how is that pronounced? Is that like Sverige? I assume that the I is an E and the E is an E, because I think only English is the only one that flattens that I out. So is it Sverige? I'll try it. I'm willing to try anything, man. I'm willing to try anything. I'll also probably mingle it. Because, of course, oh, those two I get completely correct all the time. I don't have any problems understanding Sweden versus Norway or any of the Nordic countries up north. I can see them all in my head just fine. The problem that I often have is just the SW versus SW problem. Queen Ida from Louisiana cooked for you. Oh, that's cool. Legitimately, the head of the convention is from Louisiana, Ninth Ward, and so if I can every so often, I might be able to even get her to cook some awesome stuff. She'll do red beans and rice, and she'll do gumbo from time to time. The thing is that she and I can take it a lot hotter than most people in our group, so it becomes a little bit more complicated. That looks good. There, I like that. I'm giving her her wings. So it does kind of still sound like, in a lot of ways, it does kind of still sound sweat. Um, swap, like maybe swap. Maybe. Swap. You know what? I'll bet you there's a way to say it. Swatier. Swatier. Sort of. Now I'm just going to mangle it. maybe this isn't as good an idea as I thought. Yep, that's what I was just doing. I was like, sounds like she's saying Swatier. Almost. Swatier? Sort of sounds like Swatier? I don't know, that's kind of cool. There's actually that would be a word that would be similar to soiree, which is a dance, a type of dance or party. Or a dance party. Dance party. I'll practice it. I'm going to switch out the chattering insect sound that we've got going on in our music. That's not... You're being very gracious to me. Thank you, user. I appreciate that. Because I'm sure that I'm really mangling it. That's all right. That's okay. Now we got to give her wings in her actual... Oh, not sure about that one there. I think that joke's falling flat there, Donald. Fair. Isn't that balanced? Oh, that's a good question. Is it called Swedish though? What is it called in in Swedish? Which, by the way, My show has been known to be relatively international, and since I spent time overseas, I love talking to people in other countries and like getting to know their culture and things like that. It's actually one of my favorite things. So, this one's- I'll try. I'm willing to try anything. So I'm hoping that this is all being taken in the spirit of just interest in everything. That looks cool. It's off center. So what we'll do is duplicate that layer and then flip you back. Then we can take and line you back up again. And then say you and you together. We can kill this. Let's kill this love. Yeah. What? I'm singing Blackpink. Don't judge. Really? I appreciate that. It looks like an evil robot glaring at you. It's the Evil Robot Award for being an evil robot. That's how you know you're an evil robot. There. Now it's an evil robot bird with a forehead thing. You know what? I'm leaving it alone. We're not messing with this. It does look similar to the 40K emblem. Maybe it's the mouth. You know what? I think I've overcomplicated it. That's enough to say wings. Right. Metal Grogu pontoon boat? Uh-oh. I have accidentally flattened this. You have accidentally messed this up. There. Doesn't need to be that detailed. All right. The back of Grogu's head. I get it now. So this device means she's qualified as a pilot on this vessel. This device means she's a qualified pilot. Those are two different things. And I think I know what her specialized skill is. Nope. That's pretty straight up. Drinking coffee is her best skill. Sometimes you gotta lead your best coffee life. But the scroll means she's a historian, or she works in history. As a Deus Thati, that would definitely be something that she would do. Because the Deus Thati work in elements of coffee, elements in of which they are. There we go. We'll say outline selection, draw outside. We'll just do 2. What is it, white? Yeah, it's white. Make it not white, please. Outline selection. And we are over by just a few minutes, but I'm going to finish this. Outline selection. Line width 1. There we go. Deselect. So, sleep. Brent. Good luck on that sleeping thing. All right. Now we've pretty much put the basics out for her. So she's got her military service, then her flight wings. That's her primary MOS. Then her primary hobby is storytelling or history. I wonder if it should be different for storytelling. That's all right. We'll miss you, but we understand. And then she has an engineering where she's over 10,000 or over. So James and I had this discussion, my buddy James, and he had a real objection to the 10,000 hours thing. And I don't blame him on that one. I think he was really kind of saying that it should be more like 2,000 hours or something. He's like 10,000 hours. If you do 90,000 hours, that's like 50 years. And I was like, yeah, it's your lifetime. He's like, no, you don't understand. They'd all be consecutive. How could you have 50 years of work in one job and 50 years of work in another job and only be 50 years old? There's no way that could possibly happen. So what I was thinking was you have entrance to get the award. So like she's got mechanical entrance, which means she tested the basics in mechanics, but she's not extensive. She's just basic. And then her storytelling award will be pretty high because she's been doing storytelling since forever and has tested up in each level of storytelling or history, as the case may be. And then her pilot wings will be wherever that's a very testable skill. And then he was saying we would have a different thing. Time and grade would then be a different kind of award, but it looks the same on the ranks here. So her time and grade in the military would be however many hours she's been in the military. And that's okay. But he was saying other things that are testable skills, there's no way, unless you can't have them by hour if, So anyway, I agree with him on that one. It changes nothing in what we've done, except just the thought process behind it. But she only has 4 operable skills at the moment. I might give her 5. Put one more down here. That'd be kind of cool. So, but we'll do that at a later date because I have to go run to the store before the storm rolls in, which, since I see so much blue sky out there, it makes me question whether this storm is actually going to roll in or not. So I don't know. We'll have to see. I'll check this. Yeah, no, it looks like it's gonna start snowing by midnight tonight now, which is a little different. That storm's coming down your way too, by the way, Brent. Just keep in mind. But now it's looking a lot less nasty than it did before. I mean, tomorrow is still going to be ugly, but it looks pretty I mean, we get another little batch of it on Friday, but that's it. Nothing big. So cool. We won't get snow. Shrug. Apparently, it's snowing in the UK, which I think is interesting. So some user you might be getting snow. I mean, I don't know exactly how the weather patterns work in Europe, but I don't know whether they go out to sea or whether they come in from the sea. So, but if you do, you might be getting snow coming in your way as well. Who knows? We might all get snow. Could be a thing. So, whatever. Okay, guys, I'm going to go do the thing. I will talk to you all later. Rain showers, yeah. Oh, you've had it for like a week already? It's already been snowing. Eh. After a while, you're like, it's just still snowing. I'm over snow. You know, I get it. That's one of the things I love about Colorado is that it's our altitude. We're so high up that the snow, it's just like sometimes it's here and sometimes it's gone. You're welcome. And I'll see you. No blizzard. Jerry, I have to send a kid out in that snow. Yeah, don't. Oh. My weather app is offline. Oh, it's 11 degrees. Actually, it's 11 degrees outside. That's not bad at all. It's 11 degrees Celsius. It's actually not bad. Could be far worse. It won't be by the end of the night, though. I'm gonna lose all 11 of those degrees. It'll probably drop to like -3 or 4 Celsius. All right, guys, I am OOH. I will see you all tonight. And as always, keep your eyes on the stars. Goodbye.